This Audi RS3 is about to have £5,000 worth of PPF applied to every single panel. And once it's on, no single scratch, scuff or mark will be able to get through. So once all the exterior detailing has been complete, we begin with the multi-stage machine polishing. This just prepares the paintwork for proper adhesion of the PPF and removes all the small scratches and swirls before we begin with the installation. So we start with the rotary machine polisher with a heavy cutting compound just to remove all the deeper scratches and any remaining contamination. And then we finish with the dual action machine polisher just to remove any of the final holograms or any marring marks. So whilst Everton's finishing all the preparation work before the PPF gets applied, I thought I'd just run you through a few of the adjustments we're going to make with the patterns for this car. I've opened the XPEL design software, and this is just the rear end of the car. So we've got the upper spoiler, the trunk lid and the lower trunk, and we're just going to start making a few adjustments that we like to do here. So initially, we will remove the badges that were there. So those have been removed in the preparation stage, and we've got new ones coming from the main dealer, along with the RS3 badge on the lower trunk lid. Another thing we're also going to do whilst we're here, a lot of our customers like to get the 4-dot shortened plate. So the original pattern from XPEL has a cutout for the normal standard size registration plate. So what we're going to do is shrink that as well. Now you can see how the pattern was originally. We've got the old badge and the larger cutout for the registration plate. If I clear those original lines, that gives us the pattern that we're going to install. Another thing we're going to be doing, there's these highlighted lines on the pattern, and that is where XPEL would suggest that we extend the edges. So we'll always extend these, but then I've just had a look around the car and there's a couple of other areas I just want to extend the film a little bit more. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've removed the OEM badges. They've also been removed from the XPEL pattern. So that's both the Audi rings and the RS3 badge. This small area here where the number plate sits has been shrunk just in case the customer wants a shortened number plate. And the last thing we want to look at is just under the rear glass here, we can see there's quite a large gap. So my thought process is we can probably extend this maybe 2 to 3 millimeters, so then we can lose that whole edge along this panel. So once the film has been plotted, we begin the weeding process. So this is simply removing the excess film around the pre-cut templates that we've already plotted.
What's more satisfying, weeding or actually installing the PPF?
Definitely installing. Not many people are a fan of this part of the process.
So what's the purpose of cutting them all up individually and rolling them?
Right. So this part of the process is just to make the installation as efficient as possible. So we cut, say, 80 pieces for the car. Each individual one is weeded, cut, rolled up, labelled, and the person installing it just reaches into the box and sees Audi RS3 right hand side upper rocker panel, picks it up, back rolls it, puts it on the car.
Just rolling all of those pieces in one.
So on the small pieces, rather than spending all day cutting up left hand side B pillar, right hand side B pillar, right rear B pillar, left rear B pillar, I've just rolled it all in one because James is pretty smart, so I'm sure he'll work it out. Maybe don't put that in.
I'm going to cut to when he's sticking it on the wall and he's like...
You won't be able to make him look visibly confused.
Alright, so the next day, James is already working on the boot lid. It's bright and early. What was the purpose of putting gel underneath tail lights?
We use it to reduce contamination that comes from these sort of areas. You can't always get up and clean behind these lights. Sometimes you don't want to remove them. Obviously because there's risk of breaking it. Some customers don't like cars stripped down. So a small amount of gel in that sort of crevice will hold any dirt or debris that we haven't reached in the gap long enough for us to install the film.
So we're now just moving the RS3 into our PPF bay. The car will go on the ramp, the wheels will be removed to be ceramic coated, and we'll have much better access to the PPF install.
Are we there? Left, right is good.
Yeah, and then
you stretching it to the corner or just letting it sit flat?
I think it'd go like pre-valley.
Just sits on the top of the valley, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is it falling in quite nicely on the top of that valley, or are you having to stretch it?
I haven't touched it, it's literally just right there.
Should probably talk about why James and I are blowing the film consistently. So what happens is the water pools in this valley and you can lose the edge of the film, you can't really see it. So if you blow it shortly, then you can see the edge of the film and align it properly. We're not crazy.
Well.
1 and 2 and 3 stretch.
Right.
Basic alignment is done now. What we're just making sure is that we have this front edge consistently wrapped, because what we're going to do is tuck it under the rubber seal on the windscreen, but we just need to make sure we have the same amount of material the whole way along so it tucks in nicely. As we mentioned on the front of the roof, where we were wrapping it into the seal behind the windscreen, we've also got the same wrap on the back edge. So what you really don't want to see is if that just ran on the back edge there. So we've extended that edge about 0.3 of an inch, and then that will just tuck onto the back of the roof panel very nicely, and there'll be no exposed edge.
Yeah, it looks mint. Bear in mind it's a flat colour as well.
It does look quite good, Quite pleased with that. I don't understand the patterns. Why does this fall in quite nice and then an A110, it's like you're wrestling it?
I think sometimes if it's cornered down like this on the front a little bit more, because you have to put more stretch into it, the fingers aren't there. So it sits in nicer.
I've lost all my wrapping tools. Have you got some?
No.
I bought everyone about
These
9.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some, yeah. Do you want one?
Yes, please, yeah.
Right, what am I supposed to wrap it now with? My tongue is on me. Thanks very much.
This will look quite good when I get it going. What will probably happen is James will get it going and I'll take it, but...
At least he knows.
Is there edge prep back there, James?
No. There's no edge prep anywhere.
I don't know if you can capture it, Josh, but if you run along the edge, can you see where it's like white? So now all the film's been applied, tacked down, all the solution's been removed. There's about 0.5 millimetre worth of the film left that just doesn't tack without heat being applied. So along the whole edge of the roof, you can just see it's very slightly white. So all you do is use the hairdryer and the glove just to tack that final bit down. It just gives you a bit more time to play with the film. So on panels where there's a lot of stretch, it just gives you a little bit more time before it starts tacking. If you need to lift it for contamination or anything, it just gives you a little bit more time without creating marks. So remember we spoke about that boost briefly, so I've started aligning and tacking this, and we can see there's a few bits of contamination in the panel, so lift it, rinse it, just check. Right, because I just went to tack that down and there was way too much tension in that area, so now, come on, have a look. I'll lay this naturally from the start to there and stretch outwards. So now there's a lot, well, there's no tension here actually. If I can just align it nicely. Now the majority of the panel is installed, I'm just going to use isopropanol alcohol just to rinse the excess soap out of the edges, just so we can tack them down before we apply heat. You can see it almost like the white, that's just excess soap. So if I rinse it enough with the alcohol, see the soap is there, and that's where I've rinsed it.
The door like this, obviously we always go by elements that don't change, so the trim doesn't move, the handle doesn't move, but we want to bear in mind both points. So I'm loosely aligning the handle where I think it will need to be, checking with the top, and then that's where we start basically.
Question?
Acid in automotive application, necessary or unnecessary risk?
Well, with the right application, acid is fine. Obviously, if you're not being sensible with it and you spray it and let it dwell or let it dry out or apply it on areas where it's going to react, yeah, it'll be a problem. But there are certainly scenarios where it's the most efficient, fastest and most effective way of removing stubborn dirt. So the answer is yes, but in the right hands.
It's the same with anything, isn't it? Anything in the wrong hands is dangerous, really. So
yeah. So for all our cleaning chemicals, we're in partnership with a company called Nardo, who are based out in Belgium. And the best thing about their chemicals is that they're very highly concentrated, so you only need a small amount to actually clean really effectively. So I'm about to put the rear bumper on now. This is a used car that's gone over 20,000 miles. and we know from experience that sometimes when you spray solution like that in these cavities, all these microparticles of dirt, as you spray it, run down and out. So it's important now, we're rinsing it. Obviously this has been washed, polished, re-washed and brushed, but all these microparticles, without actually removing the light, it's so difficult to get rid of them. So just for a final quality control check, I'm rinsing it and brushing it again, just so I know we've done all we can to remove as much of it as possible. The rear bumper is made up of a lot of different pieces, so there's a few different alignment points. So what I'm doing first, I'm putting on these small pieces, like this one, on the lower part of the bumper, because there will be a small join there. But by laying this small one first, I can get the rough alignment point, then install the big piece, the rear bumper, take off the small piece, put a new one on, and get an absolute perfect join.
You're choosing to bulk this over a pattern?
Yeah, so purely because of the stretch required in this piece. Sometimes fitting the pattern you get a few marks in it. Obviously not something that we really want to have, so by doing a bulk install like we are now, we just minimise the marking issues. Yeah, we can just get the tension really nice as well, so very low chance of having an issue in the future. Sometimes fitting the patterns, while they are normally very good, you can end up with issues down the line if the tension isn't distributed correctly. You can imagine all the stretch that we're having to put through the panel here, off the panel. If this was a pattern, you'd be doing this, and your hands would be on the panel getting this stretch. Or you'd end up with marks where the fingers weren't removed. Sometimes the patterns are designed like that, so yeah, this is just the best of both worlds really. Make sure that everything's moving nicely so that we don't get any marks, which it is.
So you've tacked around the edges onto the adjacent panels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do that just so that if we're going to get marks, we get them off the panel.
Yeah.
And obviously when we go to trim it, we'll be trimming it off the panel as well. A lot of people have this misconception that by bulking you're going to damage the vehicle. Obviously the wrong person can do that. But the way that we do it, everything's cut off the edge, so there's no risk of having any damage, no cut marks, nothing like that. So. So here we have a slight bridging issue. This is the only drawback to bulking.
Where the adjacent panel is slightly lower than the panel that we're fitting, we get sort of a bridging area where it's popping up. So we'll come back to that in a minute. I'll show you how we sort that out as well. It's always leaving a place for the solution to go as well. If this was all tacked closed, the solution's going to have nowhere to go. And you also don't want to go through an alcohol area, so we just leave a point where we can remove all of the solution from.
Do you seal that up section by section as you go, or do you do it all at the end?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the mix that we're using. Sometimes it will just dry out naturally. Here there's no tension, so you'll see that nothing's lifting up. If we got the tension incorrect, you might find that there would be, you know, some kind of a finger. I mean, you can feel that, you can see that's all quite soft. So if we did have an issue, we could lift it. But otherwise, we would either lock it in with alcohol, which is done right at the end of the process, or we just leave it to just dry naturally. Obviously, we have to keep the pre-tension on the bonnet. If we end up releasing the tension now, it'll all start to retract back to its original state, and then we get an issue. So this area, same as the other side, this is where we have the bridging issue. So what we can do, because it's pre-tacked, we have tension off the panel here. As long as we leave that area there tacked, we can essentially lift the rest of it, lift into the swage line, so that we're not, if we lifted up into this panel which was already closed, we then get a hard line, which you'd see, which we don't want. So if we lift it, just let it relax, and then we can typically, I can remove some of this tension even by removing some of the film, which we can do safely. Use some alcohol, and then we will allow the film to relax into the gap. And now it is actually to the edge. What we can do is we can release the tension completely, and then we let it sit over the edge. And that way we get a nice edge. Tension's been really nicely distributed, even to the point where it will be pulling over the corner. So it will be holding itself in place to a degree. That's exactly what we want. This side I don't actually have to pop the pre-tension because it's holding over the edge quite nicely. And again, that's exactly what we want to see. So if you look around the bonnet now, there's no areas where there's any fingers popping up. Tension's been distributed really nicely. There'll be no marks in the top panel because we haven't overworked it on the main panel itself. We haven't overstretched it, so the thickness of the film will remain consistent. And yeah, that's pretty much what we go for in any kind of intricate bonnet like this. So this is how we'll be trimming bulk bonnets like this. Again, misconception is scalpels near vehicles is taboo. However, if it's done correctly, it can be done safely. So here, the film is actually hanging off the edge. We're going to bring it up and we're going to score the film. So we could technically do this actually on top of the panel. We typically don't because there's obviously a risk. You might be able to hear over the polishing a slight squeaking, which typically indicates that we're just scoring the film. So it's not actually cutting through. Let's see if we can. Obviously, even if we do cut through because we're off the panel, it's not a problem. Using very light pressure to do so. That's all cutting through there, which is fine. partly because I'm putting it towards me at the same time. But the point is, you can see now, I can just slowly pull it away. No damage to the paint because we're not anywhere near it. It's the same wrapped edge that we'd get if it was a pre-cut pattern, without any issues with marking on the main panel. So best of both worlds with it.
So that's it complete. The RS3's had paint protection film applied to every single panel, the interior, the exterior has been finished with ceramic coating, the wheels and calipers have been finished with ceramic coating. If you did like this video, please like, subscribe, drop a comment, and if you've got an RS3 that needs paint protection film applying, let us know.